Looking after our bodies and our minds is a key part of living with freedom and purpose. If we want to live a life that is free, we need to look after our bodies, because if our bodies are in good shape, we are free to do more, to have more energy, to be able to use that energy without injury, without illness, without harm to our bodies. And for our minds, we have to ensure that they're sharp, that they're rested, and that they're focused. Otherwise, we're unable to achieve the things that we want to achieve that are necessary for us to achieve freedom and purpose. And I believe that there are 5 areas that are key importance for us to begin to actually move towards freedom and purpose. That is sleep, exercise, eating, connection, and reflection. Eat, sleep, and exercise are a cycle that keep our bodies and minds sharp. It is so important for us to begin to actually say, what does my body need? Does it need sleep? Do I need to eat better? Do I need to exercise more? We need to be able to do these 3 things consistently, ensuring that they're aiding us in our motivation, in our performance, in our ability to wake up in the morning, feel like we can go for it. But if we don't have that energy because we've neglected our sleep, we've neglected our eating habits, and we're not exercising enough, we just won't have enough energy. We'll constantly feel lethargic. We'll constantly feel like we don't know how we're going to get through the day. That 3 p.m. slump that we get into is most likely because of our sleep, eating, and exercise habits. And so if we can nail down these 3 things, not to say that they need to be absolutely perfect, but more to say that if we actually focus on them, we might be able to change the trajectory of our days over time by eating better, by sleeping more, by actually exercising in a way that aids in our body's functionality. If we can focus on these 3 key areas, we can begin to see much difference in our lives. And then we look at connection and the communities that we have. And then we look at reflection, which was the internal driver of our own success and change and impact and where we are going directionally. And so we're going to look at the cycle of sleep, eat, and exercise right now. So if we're looking at sleep, I think it is part of the bigger picture of eating and exercising and how it actually impacts us. But sleep is key, because if we don't sleep, it is us essentially saying that I'm not resetting my brain for the next day. Sleep is important. Sleep resets us from this day, regardless of the emotions that we held, the struggles that we faced, the disappointments that we engaged with, the tiredness that we might have run into, the struggles that we might have come with, the relationships that we have. Stuff happens in a day, and if we don't sleep properly, our brains can't properly reset. But not only is it a reset from today, it is also our motivation for the next day. I don't know if you've noticed, but if you don't sleep enough, we don't have motivation. Not to say that motivation is the only driving factor in us being able to actually achieve something. We have to have discipline regardless of our motivation. But it sure helps to have a degree of motivation, because we have focused on ensuring we have good sleep. And there's a few things that are really, really important for us to have good sleep. The first is that we need to get between 7 and 9 hours. We need to make sure that we consistently every night are getting between 7 and 9 hours of sleep. We have to make sure that our room is dark. Why do we want to make sure our room is dark? Because light interrupts our REM sleep cycles. And so we want to make sure that we're actually in a space where we can go into those deep sleep patterns that are restoring and resetting our brain and restoring our motivation levels, so that when we wake up in the morning, we actually have something to work with, something that gets us going, just enough that we can let discipline carry us the rest of the way. And then the last thing is routine. If you want to sleep well, you have to make sure that you're doing your best to wake up at the same time. Most importantly, if you can make sure that you're waking up at the same time every day, then you know that at the very least, I will want to go to bed at a certain time so that I don't feel horrible the next day. However, if you really want to optimize it, you want to make sure that you're focused on some degree of routine that is helping you in the evening as well. Something that is switching your brain off slowly. So like if I look at my motivation levels, for example, and if I look at my sleep patterns in the evening, I find that I generally will work till about 9, 9:30 at night. And if I work past that point, then my brain doesn't turn off. The wheel just keeps spinning, keeps spinning, keeps spinning. And if that happens, then I'll just not sleep properly the whole night. My eyes will be closed, but I personally will not be sleeping. And so that is a real problem for me, because then the next day I wake up feeling lethargic. I feel like my focus isn't great. I'm struggling. And so what do I have to do? I switch off at the latest 9:30. And for the next half an hour, I make sure that I'm just chilling. I'm breathing, I'm relaxing, I'm defragging, I'm making sure that my brain is kind of just processing everything that's happened throughout the day. Because if I don't have that time and I'm just constantly focused, then when it is actually time for me to sleep, my brain says to me, we still needed to process everything that's going on. And so you need that half an hour, whether it be to read, whether it be to chill, something that is away from your screens and just helping you actually begin to say, okay, I can breathe, and when I put my head on the pillow, I'm going to pass out. So whatever that thing is for you, find that half an hour right before you sleep that's going to help you once you actually hit the pillow. And make sure you're waking up at the same time. Make sure it's dark, and make sure you're getting between 7 and 9 hours. Why? Because it's a reset from the day before, and it's your motivation for the next day. Eating is just as important as sleep. If we want to hold a consistent level of energy that allows us to focus and perform throughout the day, we have to make sure that we are eating in the right variety of food, making sure that we're eating food in a variety that allows our gut biome to be healthy, eating the right proportion of food. We're not undereating and we're not overeating, because if we're undereating, we don't have enough energy. If we're overeating, we're lethargic and we're slow, and we kind of go into like a bit of a slothful state. And then there's frequency. How often are you eating? When are you eating? If you're eating all your food in the morning and then you don't eat anything for the afternoon, I promise you now, that afternoon is going to suck. You want to make sure that you are eating at consistent intervals throughout the day, whether it be in 3 meals, 4 meals, 5 meals, 6 meals, whatever it is that actually works for you. You have to make sure that you're eating the right amount of food at the right proportion throughout the day. Consistent intervals throughout the day to keep your energy levels high. And at the same time as focusing on your food, you also want to focus on your hydration. It's really important that you ensure that you have the right amount of water, but also the right amount of salts and electrolytes that are in your body. The minerals and vitamins that are in your body are keeping you healthy, keeping you energetic, making sure that your body can actually absorb the food that you are taking in. If you're not hydrated, you're not going to have the energy that you need throughout the day. And so you're going to focus on the variety of food. Fruit, veg, make sure that you're eating meat. Enough of the meals that you have should have protein. You need to make sure that you have protein in all of your meals to the best of your ability. Don't eat too much carbs. Try your best not to eat sugar. Sugar is what is going to kill your energy. I'm not saying don't do it all the time. Like, make sure that you have a little bit of balance in your life. Otherwise, you're going to hate your life and everything sucks. And the meals that you eat don't taste good. But the things that make you feel lethargic and drop your energy are sugar. And so you want to make sure that you're avoiding it as much as you can. Try and make sure that you don't drink too much coffee. And if you do drink coffee, make sure that it's not in excess. Don't have 8 cups a day. You'll hurt yourself. So that's food. But like I said, sleep and eating are only part of the equation that keep your body functioning well. You have to make sure that you're moving, and that is exercise. We have to make sure that we are getting enough exercise that our bodies can maintain a level of energy without getting tired. And so there's a few parts to exercise that really actually help us grow, help us stay strong, help our legs. Do you know that the most causes of injury, death, and quality of life are based on the strength of your legs in old age? And so that shows you that if we're not focused on ensuring that we're keeping our muscles strong and our hearts strong and our bodies fit and healthy, the quality of our life is going to decrease over time. And so we want to focus on 4 different areas, okay, that are going to help you actually be able to do this. The first is lifting. You want to make sure that you're actually lifting heavy things. Just lift weights, do it across all your body, all of your body, all the muscles in your body. Do it consistently, 3-4 times a week, 5 times a week, and make sure that you are doing it in a way that you are lifting a little bit more every single week. Whether it be that you go from 6 to 8 reps over a course of a week, or whether you go from 12 kilograms to 12.5 kilograms. You have to make sure that you're progressively growing in the weights that you are lifting across all the muscles in your body in order for you to actually put on a little bit of muscle. The second thing that you need to focus on is your cardio. Make sure that you have a little bit of cardio locked in. Get your heart pumping for 20 to 40 minutes a day. Make sure that you feel like you've sweated it out, that you're puffing and puffing. Why? Because that is going to strengthen your heart, and that is the thing that is going to give you energy throughout the day. Make sure that you're doing it frequently. This is the third thing. Make sure that you're doing this exercise of cardio and lifting frequently, all the time, 3-4 times a week. If you can, do more than that. Do as much as you can in a week, because it will help you so much to be able to know that, okay, I feel better. Not only that, it's such a mental relief in your brain. And then the last part is that you have to make sure that you're stretching. Why? Because mobility is another factor in our ability to live with freedom and purpose. Because if we're not loose, if we're not able to functionally use our body, or when we do use our bodies in any way that isn't actually a gym format and we get hurt, we're going to struggle with our lives. Everything is going to suck. Make sure that you stretch. Make sure that you're looking after your joints and your shoulders and strengthening the weak muscles that are in your ankles and knees and shoulders, and wherever it is that you find there are little weaknesses. Make sure that you focus on those areas, stretching those areas. Make sure that they're getting stronger, and make sure that you're focusing on your cardio. And so here's the beauty of this cycle that we're in with sleeping, eating, and exercise. It's an upward spiral, or it's a downward spiral, because if you're sleeping well but you're not eating well, you still won't have energy. Or if you sleep well and you eat well but you don't exercise, you won't have energy. So if you're doing all three consistently, it becomes an upward spiral, because you're saying, I'm going to sleep, I'm going to eat, and I'm going to exercise. And so when you exercise, you say, I'm feeling better about myself, but I still feel like maybe I could get a little bit more energy. And so you start focusing on your nutrition and your food so that you can improve in your exercise. And so you begin to upward spiral. But because you're exercising, you're probably feeling a little bit more tired, like you've used enough of your physical energy in your body so that when you actually hit your pillow at night, you sleep. And because you sleep well at night, then you have more motivation to be able to eat and exercise better and do everything else in your life better. And so it becomes an upward spiral that actually helps you accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. And it can be the same as a downward spiral. If you're not sleeping well, if you're not eating well, if you're not exercising, you begin to eat less, you begin to sleep worse, your eating habits get worse, your motivation levels get worse, your energy levels get worse because you're not exercising enough. And so that downward spiral begins. And so you're going to want to focus your energy on the upward spiral. One thing better the next day. You're going to sleep a little bit better. You're going to focus on the habits that are shaping your eating. When you eat, how much you eat, what proportion of food do you eat, when in the day. All of that stuff is going to allow you to shape habits that will change the trajectory of your eating behaviors. Exercise is the same. Form habits that are going to change the trajectory of your life. And the last thing that's really important for us to catch here is that this is a cycle that helps our physical and mental state at the very basics. However, if we want to grow, there's two more factors that we need to focus on. The first is our connections. It's the people that we spend time with. We have to look at our relationships, like our romantic relationships. Who are we spending time with? Who's the person that we're going to marry? These people are going to shape us the most in our lives. It's the most important decision that we could ever make in our entire lives, because they're going to either aid in our habits or they're going to take away from them. And we're never going to be able to gain it back if we don't have the support of the person that we spend the most time with, the person that influences our decisions and direction the most. We have to focus on those relationships. We have to be intentional in them. We have to be authentic in them, sharing exactly what it is that we need from those people and how it is that we can feel most loved. But most importantly about these relationships, it's actually not about us. We have to serve them to the best of our ability. And I know this is a weird thought because a lot of culture is saying we need to make sure that this is the right relationship for me and all of that nonsense. What's really important about a relationship is that both parties are equally trying to serve the other more. And so you need to become the type of person that is serving in your nature, that you're looking for ways to improve their lives, support their lives, come alongside them wherever it is that they need it the most, in the way that they need it the most. And in that way, you become somebody who attracts another person who is doing it for you. And so you have to become someone who is serving in nature of your closest relationship possible. But you can't just have a romantic relationship. You also need friends, and specifically friends of the same gender. You need people that are going through the same things as you, who are in the same level of focus as you. So like find people that are your age or in the same like stage of life, because they're dealing with the same stuff as you. And so you have someone that is coming alongside you and motivating you and strengthening you. And they're only really a friend if they're there to motivate, strengthen, encourage, and help you. Like if they're not doing those things, they're not really friends. They're not friends at all. And so we want to make sure that you're focused purely on the people that are adding the most to your life, whether it be a support and a help, whether it be encouragement, whether it be people you can do stuff with that actually just help you get your mind off of the stuff that's going on around you, people that are on the same journey as you, whether it be in the same industry, whether it be in the same focus. As long as your values are the same, your relationship and your friendship will thrive. Another thing that is really important in our connection circle is people that are a little bit further ahead of us in life, meaning it's mentors, people that have done the things that we're trying to accomplish in whatever area, whether it be in your spiritual lives. You need people that are a little bit more mature in their faith, because otherwise you're not going to fully know what to do. You need guidance around what it actually looks like to live a Christ-like life. And sometimes the application of that is only truly found in the wisdom of someone who has walked the journey ahead of you already. And it's the same in business. We need people around us that are a little bit further ahead, who can tell us, you're veering off the wrong direction. Your focus is wrong over here. You need to direct yourself towards this specific type of output using this specific type of input. Because if you're not able to have somebody who can just give you a guidance, something that worked for them, then we won't be able to know exactly how it is that we're going to use it. And so we need people around us that are mentoring us, people that are a little bit further ahead of us in many walks of life, in many different ways as well. In your spiritual life, in your work life, in your friend life, in your marriage life, in all the areas of your life, you should have people that can speak into those specific things. You need those people around you. They're the guys that are going to help you a lot. And it's not a friendship relationship, but it is one that's really close. And these people are guiding you and they're helping you. And you know what? People are willing to help. Just step out and ask people. Look at people who are a little bit further ahead and say, listen, I need this from you. Can you help me with it? And I promise you now, people are willing to help you more than you think. And the last thing that's really important within this connection space is the community that we build around us. Why? Because we need a network of people that are opening up doors and opportunities for us in every endeavor in our life. Because if we have just a network, a community of people around us, churches, social clubs, running clubs, whatever it is that is actually you want to do, what you love to do in your life, it opens you up to people, which then opens you up to new opportunities. And so you need your close relationships to keep you grounded. You need your friends to have people you can relate to and walk alongside and be encouraged by. You need mentors that can teach you, but you also need community so that you have something that is opening up opportunities for you. And you're opening opportunities for others. And so it's important that in your connection, you're focused on these 4 different areas. And the last thing that's really important for our mental health and our overall health in our minds and our bodies, which is pointing us towards freedom and purpose, is reflection. Reflection is important because it allows us to see what it is that we're doing wrong, what it is that we're doing right, and redirect ourselves towards the things that are most important. And I just want to end it off with these 5 questions that we can ask ourselves, whether it be every day, whether it be every week, whatever it is. It's what am I grateful for is the first question. What am I grateful for? Why? Because this aligns your brain to positive thoughts that then allow your brain to move towards things that are actually going to happen in the future. And so if we're thinking about positive things, our minds move towards positive things in the future, and our overall mood is higher because we can see the best in life. So grateful. What things did I do well today or this week? Why? Because then we can actually focus on doing those things again. Sometimes we're always looking at the things we're doing badly, but it's more important to look at the things we actually did well and focus in on those things, because those are the things that are moving us forward. Those are the things that are building our lives. And then the next question obviously is, where did I suck today or this week or this month? What did I do terribly in my relationships? Where did I not implement sleep, eating, and exercise habits that are aiding in my life? And then the next question is, what things can I do the same? So that's looking at the things that you did well and saying, which of these can I do consistently, or which of these things can I make into a habit? And then the last question is, which things do I need to do different? So that's looking at the things that you thought, okay, I really thought I sucked at this last week. And then now you make an adjustment to say, I don't want this to hold me back anymore. I don't want my eating habits to hold me back. I don't want my exercise habits to hold me back. I don't want the fact that I stayed up till 4 in the morning because I couldn't sleep holding me back from accomplishing what the next day holds for me. So what do I need to do differently to help me accomplish this specific goal? And so these are the 5 areas that are going to change our lives completely if we allow them to be an upward trajectory spiral towards freedom and purpose. We need to sleep well, we need to eat well, we need to exercise as often as possible. We need connections, we need relationships, we need friends, we need mentors, and we need a community. We need to reflect on ourselves, and we need to ask 5 questions that'll help us actually do that.